All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my first Artist on a Rise interview with Rae Lopez, and I'll go ahead and let the artists introduce themselves.
Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Rae Lopez, and I've been a fan of Jabria for a couple of years now via YouTube. No, for real. So, like, honestly, it's so crazy, like, us talking because I remember your videos with the same backdrop.
Yeah, it is. It's trippy, yeah, because I was definitely not here, and then now I'm back. So it's like full circle and
Mm.
divine timing and all the good stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the questions that I have. Number one. So we can go ahead and start with the basics. When did you first start making music? Why? And what genre of music did you make initially? And how has it changed over the years? I know there's a lot of questions in one, but that's the first one.
No, that's actually a really good question. Is it cool actually if I still get right into my makeup?
Yes, please. I want to see.
Oh, I know, right? I've never done. I think this is gonna be such a cool element to it. Okay, so I started making music like like sixth grade, and I remember like it started because me and my brother, we've always, so I'm a twin, and we've always been very creative and very much, I don't know, like little actors, I would say. And so we had gotten a MacBook for Christmas because we were making skits on YouTube. And one day I was just randomly playing around with GarageBand. I had heard about it because of MySpace and the artists who were on MySpace were using GarageBand the same way some of our favorite YouTubers were using iMovie, and that's why we asked for a MacBook. So I
Hmm.
started in sixth grade. Yeah, I started in sixth grade. And it was kind of like rap because all my brother and his friends were listening to rap, and this was before I was like fully
What? I
Ray.
didn't know
So
this.
yeah, so I started out as a rapper, and I would go by
Wow.
yeah, and it was like so cringe. And actually, like I was showing Nectar like some of the our we were both showing each other like our earlier songs, and he was tripping too. But yeah, so I started as a rapper, and it's changed so much because I think now where I'm at is I would consider myself actually like a singer and like an artist, and I actively try to exercise and practice my instrument, which is my voice.
Hmm. Wow. I did not know that. I'm so glad I asked that question because I feel
Mhm,
like when you kind of like get exposed to an artist, you kind of make assumptions based on whatever stage you find them in, and you
mhm.
don't like know the background behind how they got to that space. Like I said, depending on whenever you discovered them. So that's so nice. And I'm so happy you had like the foresight to ask for a Mac like you at such a young age, like that's impressive. Like to know, like, okay,
Yo.
let's ask for this so this can be used in this area of
Mm.
my life. That's beautiful. Thank you so much
Actually,
for
thank
explaining.
you for
Go ahead.
no, sorry, I don't even no, but thank you for like pointing that out because you're actually kind of right. Like me and my brother were on some shit for real.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of foresight. So
Hmm.
what made you like make that transition from rap to singing? As the question was like what inspired you to make that transition from rapping to singing?
Ooh, so it's kind of like I don't want to say a long answer, but kind of in a way. So while I was trying to make rap music, I was secretly listening to music I actually liked. So I loved, yeah, like I was pretending to be like into Lil Wayne, Dr. Dre, Eminem. Like that was when it was like 2009 when they were big. Like I Need a Doctor was like huge knockout. Like Lil Wayne had just done the Rebirth album. Like that was the time because me and my brother grew up very Christian and very religious and only allowed to listen to Christian music. And so music for me at first was always just seen as worship. And then later I recognized it as an art form and expression. And
Wow.
so yeah. And so I was like really into like Katy Perry. She was just popping up, Lady Gaga, Britney Spears. And there wasn't really that many male artists. And the one that I was really gravitated to that was like who is a male was Jeffree Star. And I liked his music, and the reason this is gonna sound so bad, but I was like, you know what? Like if he can do it, I can do it. And so I just wanted to actually be taken as an artist. Like I want to be taken seriously as a singer and not just have auto tune. Because even T-Pain, I don't know if you remember like how when people first heard him sing without auto tune, it was like, oh, he's an actual singer, like you
Hmm.
know, you know. So that was kind of like what was my motivation was I wanted to take it seriously because when I look back, I would say I've always been like an artist. My first love was actually drawing.
Wow.
And yeah, and then I've always just kind of like played with different mediums like photography and then like the skits on YouTube and the acting and voiceovers and
Just creative
yeah,
all around then. That's beautiful because I'm the same way. So that's of course why we're friends. Because
that part.
thank
And
yeah.
I can pick that up too.
I love that. Thank you so much for answering the question. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. So, in one of your earliest songs, Good, you say the lyrics,
Mhm.
when you come around, I want to hit that home run with the baseball bat. We moving from first base all the way to fourth base. Are you a baseball fan, and how have sports in general influenced your artistry and specifically your songwriting?
Oh, I love your questions are so good. Like I'm
Thank
not even like for real. I love your questions. Yeah, so that line is so funny. Okay, so growing up, I did play. So I didn't play baseball. My grandpa did, but he did. I didn't. But I played basketball, and I actually really enjoyed cross country and track a little bit more, and basketball too. But so I'm a twin, so we always did everything together. But these days, I just kind of focus more so on running and cardio. But sports, growing up as an athlete, it taught me that practice really does make perfect, and you have to practice like you're about to play. And so I can apply that in my singing in the sense of like when I'm rehearsing, like I actually have a mirror and I'm like doing choreo while I'm singing. And
Wow.
yeah, so that's a good takeaway I've gotten from sports growing up.
Wow. I love that line. I never heard that actually. Practice like you play. Wow.
Hmm.
I like that.
They
Wow.
even say that in theater. I got that from theater too.
See, I never was in theater, and I used to think the theater kids were so annoying, as I feel like everybody who's outside of theater thinks the theater kids are so annoying. So I never heard that. Practice like you play. That's beautiful. Thank you. And
Mhm.
I like the song good. I thought it was so fun to listen to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we're gonna go into the next question. So your latest single, The Dark Side of the Moon, arrived on May 17th of this year. Can you tell us about your methodology when planning release dates, choosing the art cover, and social media marketing techniques when releasing new music?
Yes, I love how you say that. I've always dates I ever since I put out my first song ever in 10th grade and I released it on Mother's Day. So I've always, and then when I was younger, like I didn't, my frequency of releasing music wasn't as much as it is now. And even then now it's still not enough to today's standards. Like if you're trying to like, be taken seriously as an artist online or grow and whatnot. But I've always done it based on like birthdays or like, yeah, like sometimes like my family birthdays or my friend birthdays, or even I work with the moon. So I love to release a lot on the full moon and the new moon.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Can you tell me about how you choose the art cover for your different releases?
I make them. So yeah, every art cover that I've put out is one that I've made. Except for like the Born Again album cover, that's like AI. But I mean, in a way, like we collaborated with AI. You know what I'm trying to say? But like I put in like the theme or whatever, and I kind of typed it to what I wanted it to create. But like I said, for me, like it's I love like this is okay, so this is kind of like a long-winded answer, but I love music and making music because there's really so many things you can do. Like you can focus on the voice and the production of the lyrics and how it sounds and like the instrumentals. And then there's there's an auditory effect aspect to it, and then there's a visual aspect to it too. And one of those, besides music videos and the artists themselves, is the album covers. And so I just kind of like literally like the same way I make a song where I feel like I'm channeling something or it's just kind of coming through to me and I'm kind of like working with the energy. I'm like, and so like I'll be like, oh wait, I like this, and I'll build on what I like. And so that's kind of what the album covers like. Usually, like for my earlier, like well, not my earlier stuff, but it's because when I talk about my music, there's two eras in my mind. There's the era where I was like Israel, like that's my legal name is Israel Enoch Lopez, and I was Ray as the artist, and like it was so separate. And I remember I used to hate when people would call me Ray at school because they were kind of just making fun of me. Like they were like, "Oh, like Ray," like you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then it totally flipped whenever I like long story short ended up in El Paso, and I was like, you know what? Because this was when I was really coming to terms with myself and really starting to own myself and own my truth. And I had like was in a moment of my life where I felt like I had no control, and I was like, I am gonna regain my control, and I'm gonna be Ray. And so I started showing up as Ray, and like job employers, I would have to tell them like, well, yeah, my legal name's Israel, but I like to go by Ray, like you know what I mean.
Wow.
And so I'm trying to come back to the question with the album cover. So it kind of just goes with so when I look at my album covers starting in El Paso, which was like 2020, 2021 and up, there are a lot of pictures of that I had other people take of me, and then I kind of like create collages. Like that's how I would describe them. And I kind of create like a scene or a world, even though like it doesn't look like a collage. In my mind, it is because I'm getting different pieces and kind of blending them in together and making it look like it's one picture when it's from different pictures online and stock footage and stuff. But it's just another way for me to kind of channel my creativity and expression.
That's beautiful. You have such like foresight at such a young
Mm-hmm.
age. So like I don't know, I can only imagine that's like been matured and like the foresight you have now for the future to come. Like that's amazing. Like taking back your power, like adults are getting taught that now that are like in their 30s, like what that means. And like you knew that like 10 years ago, 7 years ago, you already knew like to be thinking in that way. So that's incredible. Like I just want to say that. And the last piece of that was how do you market those images on social media?
Ooh, so I didn't realize I was doing this until later. It kind of started to click, right? But I was kind of like forming. I guess in some ways I kind of had an idea, but I market it, I guess, via my brand. And so it's funny because to me, my brand essentially just became what I actually liked. And it wasn't until I started kind of putting out like so I guess let me explain it in this way. Like a lot of my songs from 2020 and up, there's like definitely like spiritual aspects to it. There's like esoteric aspects to it, mixed with like pop culture a little bit. And so that kind of comes from just who I really am. Like naturally, like I read tarot cards too. I'm very intrigued by the esoteric, like esoteric teachings and I guess stories and narratives and documentaries that are out there. Like I watch a lot of that on my free time. Um, and so I'm sorry, I'm trying to like not lose track of my mind. Um, I guess like eventually, like what I'm trying to say is I realized what my brand was, and I was like, oh shit, it's just literally me, and I'm just kind of like exaggerating or capitalizing a little bit more on what I like, and that's how I kind of like push it out into the world because it's an extension of me, but through in a way where if you resonate or if you can resonate with it, or it can just look different and it draws your attention, but the marketing aspect, I guess, is more so coming from the brand and the brand identity and the contents within the brand, which are my songs and the album covers and stuff like that. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, that answered my question perfectly. It's an extension of you. It is you. That's how you market, and that's what your brand is. That's what your uh identity is. Very good. I like it. The strategy makes sense. And you kind of mentioned something that I was gonna ask you about later. So let's go ahead and jump into that now.
I love that.
So in a post made on Instagram during January of last year, you captioned a picture. I got them popsicle lips and that spiritual drip. I was wondering if there was any advice you'd like to give to artists like and unlike yourself about balancing their spiritual or religious views with their professional artistry or image.
Oh, I love you, girl. Like for real. Okay, so what comes to mind right away is my actual like professional career outside of the music and what we're doing right now. Well, I'm not working right now, but previously, like for the last 4 years, and I'm in college right now. I'm in a graduate program for social work. Thank you. So I've been in the mental health field for the last 4 years, and this kind of I think bleeds into it a little bit because in mental health, you kind of have to walk that fine line of practicality and spirituality. Because if not, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If not, you have delusions, or you're hearing things, or you're seeing things, or religious, hyper religious, grandiose thoughts, or just delusions. Even what else? It's like, and so anyway, like I guess coming to back to your answer, and when it comes to as an artist, I think I get to have a lot more wiggle room in my art because I feel like when you go to work or any job, any employer, you kind of have to present yourself a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that even comes down to like the training and the uniform. Like, just the fact that you're getting a uniform is like, not wild, but it kind of shows like that there's a certain image and a certain character and persona they're looking for. And so with the art, I think you should be yourself. And I think, I mean, and not just full on be yourself and like balls to the wall, like no guardrail rails, but I think in anything in life, everything needs balance. Too much of something isn't always good. You know what I mean? And so I think if spirituality is a topic that you want to touch on, I think maybe just okay, this is a better way to say this. I guess finding the balance in your art, because I think also like in a different way, you can kind of get stuck in a certain theme or a certain like concept. So I think just finding that balance, and I don't know. Fuck. Why do I feel like I'm like losing like my train of thought every time?
You make sense. I'm getting you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, like I guess because I feel like artists when it comes to art in general, I think it is spiritual. That was what I was trying to get to also. I think art is spiritual. I think there's definitely something else at play than I think because I think God is an artist, you know what I'm saying? And so in my world, I have always thought that's what me and God have in common is we're both artists, you know? Which oh, I got goosebumps when I saw that.
Some good lyrics too. Like that would be great in a song.
You're honestly you're right. And I feel like so okay, remind me to talk to you about an upcoming project I have because there is kind of something there, Loki.
Okay, okay.
That but so I feel like but in a way, like there's that Lady Gaga lyric in Applause where she says, "One second I'm a coons, then suddenly the coons is me." Because the way I interpret that lyric is she's talking about Jeff Koons, or and he's like that famous sculptor in New York. He has like those dogs, that balloon dogs, glass sculptures.
Yes. I know.
Yes. That's what he's really known for. But so she says, like, 1 second she's Jeff Koons, and then she's a Koons, which is like an, like his art piece of Koons. But I take that a step further with my relationship with God, life, spirit, the universe, where low key, like I recognize like I am God. Like, you know what I mean? Like he created me, but he's moving through me. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like that's why I don't want to, I mean, there's definitely I have boundaries, but I try not to put myself in a box too much. I don't know if it's because I'm an Aquarius, but I feel like what I'm trying to say is like art should be free form. But then again, I'm very much into like abstract art and personally, and I love surrealism. So maybe I'm the wrong person to ask that question. But I feel like as long as you're having balance in your own life aside from the art, I think that's good. You know what I mean? I think go crazy in the art, but I think in your real life, I think you need to have grounding, practicality, and balance for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Cause that's some advice. It's so many little gems being dropped that I'm gonna just keep for myself.
I love you. Yo, honestly, I'm speaking to me at the same time too. Yo,
Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll go into your next question. All right, so here we go. So your collaborative single with and the song Pretty Boy with Nectar.exe arrived in December of 2022, yet the music video didn't arrive until September of 2024. Can you tell me a little bit about what that process was like, moving from releasing the music to releasing a music video? And what messages of encouragement, if any, would you give to others who may have to experience a similar waiting period?
Ah, dude, your questions are golden. Okay, I'm glad you asked this because I was just talking to a friend. I was at yesterday about this, and it's funny, he just texted me right now too. Like a minute. Yeah. Crazy. Like when you were asking that question, he sent me, and like I wish I could show you because I don't want you to think I'm lying, but anyway.
I believe you.
Okay. So yeah, like it's funny because we did that music video 2 years ago, and a lot of people, well, that music video like has given me a lot of opportunity. I don't know. Well, I want to say I don't know why, but when I really think about it, and I have thought about it a little bit, I just think people finally like saw, because that music video is like the first music video I can honestly say you see who I am, and you kind of get like my thought process and my point of view a little bit, because and we can get a little bit more into the meaning of the video and the song and all of that and the history behind it. But so the reason why, this is another long-winded answer too. The reason why it took 2 years was one, finances. During when we first did that song 2 years ago, I was in a place in my life where I had just spent like whatever savings I had at that point, which was I'm not trying to brag or whatever. It was like a few $1,000s that I had saved throughout a while, and I had invested that money into two of my music videos, and I got burned, literally burned. Um, so I was kind of in this purgatory. Like that's how I would describe this period of my life. And it's so funny because I'm local and I'm not like anywhere major, but I can only imagine like this type of shady shit that goes on at that level because of what I experienced on this level. You know what I mean? And so anyway, like point blank, the short answer is I just didn't have any money to like do a music video then. We definitely had talked about it, but I also believe everything happens for a reason, because the idea that we had for the video originally just wasn't the same idea that would come later and that it would eventually be. And so money was the issue, but also like I said, I got burned by these two different producers, directors, whatever you want to call them, who have done really great videos. One of them, I'm not gonna say the name, but he's done a music video for Cigarettes After Sex.
Mm.
And that's kind of where I kind of realized my fault, because I felt like I was chasing the shiny things, when in reality, like I've had some of my better, like some of my favorite like pictures or photography, or even like this music video, like Pretty Boy. And then Little Lies, I would say, is another music video that I really enjoy too. Those were cheaper, way fucking cheaper compared to Runaway and Take on Me. And I kind of honestly have like negative associations with those two songs and two videos because of the backstory behind it. And so going back to me being in that purgatory, I was kind of like depressed, and I was just really also like going through my own life. I had just started a job it was a state job, and it required training for basically 19 weeks. So, I was for 19 weeks also like doing this training and then coming back on Friday, driving in Friday nights after like a 5 hour drive, and then coming back, and I'm having to unpack and do laundry, and things are piling up at home, and I have other, stuff going on like in my personal relationships and friendships and other collaborations I'm trying to do. And so basically, I guess in that moment of my life 2 years ago was really just complicated. And there was a lot that ultimately knocked me down. And so we finally did the Pretty Boy music video because I'm in school again and I got FAFSA, and I was my FAFSA my FAFSA were fun, and I was like, you know what, I'm done being sad and I want to come back, and I want to come back because I was supposed to release an album 2 years ago called Dead End, and I have a song called Dead End too, and it never came out because I just felt so burnt by everything that happened, because with the Runaway music video, it was supposed to kickstart the marketing campaign I had in my head for the album. So originally I was supposed to drop the music video with the song, the guy kept giving me the runaround. I didn't get that music video a year later after we had filmed it, after we had paid him. And let me tell you this, girl, I he just sent me the files. I put the music video together and I did it in yeah, like on a phone on my iPhone, on an app in my iPhone. So I really hated that song. I really hated that video, but I paid so much money for it. And I was like, I need to put this out. Like, bitch, I'm wasting money if I don't put this out. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of look back at that as like a very expensive lesson. Um, and it's just funny because there's other little things that happen where I would kind of cross paths with the director who did the Pretty Boy music video. And I had the opportunity to work with him then, but I chose someone else because of the notoriety that they possessed that he lacked. So it's like a huge like slice of humble pie, like honestly, and like I'm glad I'm able to kind of look at it like that because I think I could have easily gone and become really jaded, and I probably would have. And I've thought about quitting music a few times, and that was definitely another time where I was like, "Fuck this shit!" Like I really lost, a couple, not just a couple $1,000s, but okay, I lost $4,000. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I was just, my family got mad at me. Like I felt like I didn't have enough success. So I'm looking at myself a certain way. Like, why am I investing so much money when I'm not even at a caliber where I have 1,000 listeners? You know what I'm saying? It just really was a weird mind fuck. And I had a collaborator at the time too. And I'm getting close to answering this question, who would eventually leave me and stop working with me and kind of like low key in a weird way trade me out for another queer male artist in El Paso and just ghost me. But he still followed me. He was supposed to send me the rest of the stuff we had done together. He never did. And he told me he left because he knows no progress. So it was like, once again, like what I was already thinking about me was getting thrown in my face. So I think, long story short, it was finances, but it was also like mentally, I just wasn't at a place to keep my momentum going, and I had to put it in the back burner. But it happened, I think, for the better.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. It just shows how much resilience you have and also like
Oh,
the resourcefulness of your mind's perspective is what I was like thinking about. Like your mind is so resourceful and like even in like tough situations, it's just picking up these little things to take from it in not only a positive way, but in a healthy way. Does that
mm-hmm.
make sense? Because sometimes like you don't need things to be positive in order to integrate them in a healthy way, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. And that's what I feel like you did. Like you didn't just leave it all or try to make it this big happy thing. You acknowledged it for what it was, but you also picked up the little gems that were available for you to pick up.
I want to also like say like I think another part of that is my profession outside of the music. The mental health field. Like I well, not that I do. At the time when all of this was going on, I was the caseworker for mental health adults. So I'm going to their houses every day. I'm calling, like talking to them like 4 to 5 clients a day, Monday to Friday, helping them with their goals, with their needs, with their, wants most of the time. But, there's moments where it's like, hey, like it's this or that. You know what I mean? Everyone has different circumstances going on. But anyway, like I think through my previous job positions, I've been able to learn and grow my own coping skills and refine my own thought processes. And so that's been another thing that I would say attributes to my mindset too, at least the last 4 years.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yes, beautiful. Yeah, your occupation and other parts of your life, other areas of your life contributing to your mindset. Yes, beautiful. All right.
Aw.
We're going to do one more question and then I'll let you talk about any new projects that you have coming up.
Ooh.
All right. So, lastly, something I've been looking forward to asking about on your stories, you can be found doing makeup tutorials and also have features of music from artists like Kim Petras, Demi Lovato, Tove Lo, and more, all of which are known for having phenomenal makeup, especially in their music videos. How have these musicians given you inspiration in your own makeup styles and why them specifically?
Yo, wait, where did you find like the Tough Love and the from Spotify?
Oh, I looked at your stories.
Oh, I love like the songs I post and stuff. Oh my God, I love you because I was like, how did you? Okay. So let me go ahead and say, I guess like honestly, like I don't want to say it all goes back to this, but when I go back to how I started and how I started making music, it's actually a crazy full circle moment in my mind because, like I said, I was really obsessed with Britney Spears, and so I was visiting El Paso, like like I think it was a Christmas or Thanksgiving holiday break, like many years ago. I was like in yeah, like sixth grade or seventh grade, and so I was obsessed with Britney Spears, and it was at the time where, do you know Chris Crocker? It's now she's trans, and I forget what she goes by now, but at the time it was a gentleman going by Chris Crocker. And there was this iconic viral, I think it was he was one of the first viral videos to go. He was one of the first people to have a video go viral on YouTube when YouTube was barely just starting. And he was like, "Leave Britney alone." Like, I don't know if you remember that guy,
No,
but
I'm very like late to a lot of stuff. Even then, I wasn't on it, so it's okay.
yo, well, so like I love Britney Spears and I loved her music videos because when you look at the guy artists, like I just never resonated with like Justin Timberlake, and Justin Bieber was kind of like popping up a little bit, like Austin Mahone, like these womanizers, like, I'm like, look at me right now, like you know what I mean. And so anyway, like I guess I was really obsessed with Britney Spears, Katy Perry, and so anyway, my one of my older cousins was making fun of the Chris Crocker guy, but we would always watch. So I would eventually watch Chris Crocker's YouTube videos, and he would have these videos on YouTube where he would turn himself into a girl. And at the time, I was like, I want to do that. Like, I wish I could do that. Like, and it's so funny because it's just so funny how like these little building blocks kind of, I don't know, like these little like breadcrumbs that have like, you know what I'm saying, in the in your life. And so anyway, long story short, he brings up Jeffree Star, and that's where it clicked. And I finally saw like a male artist who was doing what I wanted to do and was still like a boy, and like, you know, like kind of it kind of just showed me like, okay, wait, none of this shit really matters. It is kind of like taught to us growing up. It's like societal expectations. And so anyway, um he really inspired me with my aesthetic, I would say. But like that was years ago. So where I'm at now, like Kim Petras is probably like a huge inspiration for me right now. Like I love her music, I love her lyrics, I love her vibes, her marketing, everything she has as a brand. She has like a tag in her music when she goes, woo, ah, and like not all her songs have that, but most of her songs do. And it inspired me to create my own tag, which is like a mwah, which is like this kiss that I do. Yeah. And so like I guess with the music like and the makeup combined, for me like I said, makeup was something I always wanted to do, but I was never allowed to. But to me it goes back to my first love, which is drawing.
Mm,
So it kind of just it's another way for me to be in like tap into my creative energy and kind of further express myself as an artist. And so my makeup, I would say I do get inspired by other people, but usually I try to be original. I try to, you know what I mean?
you are successful
But
being original.
I appreciate you. I
Mhm.
really do. But yeah, I guess like I'll see some of their cool concepts and ideas, and it just reminds me like, okay, you can go bigger, or it doesn't have to be as complicated as you think it is.
Mm.
So I would say that.
Wow, both at the same time and duality balance. It's something that you've like brought up many times. I like
Mm.
that.
I
Very,
like how
very
you noticed that.
yeah. But okay, so last but not least, can you tell everybody what you have coming up next? Any new performances? Any new art pieces coming out that you like to talk about?
Yeah, we have some cool stuff. Okay, so well, I have a show. You know, I don't know when this is coming out, but I have a show Friday. Which is I'm in El Paso, so we're performing at this place called Mona's, which is really cool. It's like this cool bar that has like the Mona Lisa like outside and like inside, and it has all this really cool like artwork inside. I guess their goal is kind of like to be like an art gallery bar, but it's more bar. That's just like the concept. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it has cool art in it. And so anyway, I've only performed there once, so I'm excited to come back. It's been a few years. And it's a really cool venue. Like I would say, like for locally, like to perform at Mona's, I think is cool. Um, so I have that Friday. And then as
Excited
of now,
What's the date for Friday? So like everybody knows.
Oh, October 25th.
Okay. Like,
And I actually go on at midnight. So, oh, kind of crazy. I
wow.
go on,
And then you were saying about the moon and stuff. Yes.
that's so true. And one of my friends who actually comes out as as a judge. Well, I would say we're like acquaintances or like good acquaintances, but he agreed to do my he does FX makeup. So he's gonna do my crazy cool gory makeup for that set. Because it's Halloween, you know what I mean?
I want to see
And
that.
it's yeah, I've never had someone else do that. And then I'm gonna do my so one side's gonna be really gory, and then I'm doing my glam, like kind of more of what I usually do on the other side. And so I'm excited for that. We've never done anything like that before. So I want to try to film that. I'm actually having a friend film the whole performance. So I'll probably be posting that on online too. So that's actually good that we brought that up. And then like something cool that I'm working on is I am finally working on a new project. And I say that because like I said, I almost released an album like 2 years ago and I have a lot of those songs and I don't know if it's my pride or if it's just like the wounded part of me, but I'm like I don't want to put these out because also like it's been so long and I took vocal lessons for a whole year and I really feel like I've grown a lot as a person, as an artist, as like a singer, like all this stuff. So I'm kind of shelving that away. And I think one day I'll put it out, but just not, it's just right now is not the time. And so I'm working on a new project and it's the title that I've always had for the last, oh, not always had, but I've had for the last 2 years. And it's something that I keep coming back to. So I'm finally like, I guess, bringing it to life because I, I feel like it's telling me like, bitch, like I want to come out. You know what I mean? So yeah. And so it's called Mr. Rae, but it's a play on words and
Mhm.
it's even a play on like gender because it's Mr. What is that? Like the monogram or not the monogram, but the Mr. Mrs.
I don't know what it's called. Somebody smart, please put it in the comments.
Yeah, like a surname. I don't know. But so like, there's Mr., there's Miss, and I don't know, like for people who are gender fluid, because for me, like I really don't like labels. If I had to say label, I would say I'm just a spiritual being having a human experience. But I'm open to like anything. Like I have a lot of friends that call me girl, and like we're like girl, bitch, like you know what I mean. But then I have a lot of guy friends that call me bro or like dude, and so like I'm cool with both sides. Like I'm not picky. There was a moment where I was, but like I said, I don't like to be defined. So like I think that comes back to like my career being Aquarius. But so anyway, I do something new, and I think it's relevant, and I haven't seen it out there yet, so I'm really excited for it. But it's Mister with a question mark versus a period, which
Oh,
I'm surprised I haven't seen that. And so anyway, and then it's my name Ray, and that's a play on the word mystery, which I got from a coworker who would call me Mystery in their group.
okay, you
All
were
right.
saying that your coworker liked to call you mystery.
Yes. So he would say it in a way that was like Mr. Ray. And it was basically we both were on the same page and it was like calling me mystery because he loved how I would come to work sometimes with no makeup and in uniform, but then there'd be days where I would come to work with the makeup and I would dress up the uniform. And he
Mm,
would always, yeah,
it
and he would
sounds
always tell
like
me,
Legally Blonde. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, I love that. That's actually, I didn't watch that movie too. That's the lawyer. She's trying to be a lawyer, right?
yes. And she has to wear like those formal clothes, but she like does it in pink. Like she elevates it. Mhm.
That part. Yo, that is literally me. And like, that's kind of how I feel about, well, he said this cool thing. Like, he was like, I love when you come peacocked out. And I was like, oh my God.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, I like his
because
coworker.
he was cool. He's actually, I would say he's my work dad. I would say that. And he's my dad away from dad. And what's fascinating about that comment though is male peacocks have the color for hemorrhage, not hemorrhage, plumage,
Oh, I don't
like
know.
the feathers.
Yeah, I just call them feathers. I don't know the specific.
Yeah, we were trying to like, yeah, like the color for feathers. And then so I was like, oh, I love that because I didn't know that. And so anyway, the album's a play on that, and it's kind of like I'm excited for it because it's a very conceptual project. Even though I there's not a lot of production, like what how do I say it? There's not a lot of like custom production. There is one song, but it's a cover that my friend produced for me. So I'll go ahead and leak it. It's Just Like Heaven by The Cure. And so,
Oh, that's one of my
yeah,
favorite songs. And it's a cover
girl.
by the Lumineers. That's my favorite cover of that song.
Oh shit, I
Right.
gotta look up, I gotta check out that
You
cover. The
gotta look
Lumineers cover?
at, yeah, it's like way sadder, which is like that's my vibe. So, so I know the song. Wow. And
Yo,
they featured this song in Heartstopper season 3, which is the
oh
show
shit.
about the gay boys. The Cure, that song's on there just like heaven at the prom, I think. But
I
yeah.
need to watch Heartstoppers.
Yes, Heartstoppers is on Netflix.
I gotta check it out. I've never seen
Yes,
it.
that's one of my
But
favorite shows.
oh shit, how many seasons are there?
Just 3, and the third one just came out in August, or is it September or October? I think it came out this October.
Yo, it's all bleeding into each other.
But wow, wow, just
So
like heaven.
yes, so Just Like Heaven, the reason, and I've wanted to cover that song for a minute too. But that sound is kind of a little bit of what inspired the project. So the Mr. Ray EP definitely has, well, I don't know. I wanted to do an EP, but right now I have enough tracks for an album. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do. But definitely an EP. There's definitely a project coming out and it's very dark. There's definitely some happier, more upbeat songs, but it has like it's very synth wave. It's very 80s inspired, very punk, post punk, a little drum and bass, D&B. But I would say it's cool because it talks about. I guess if I had to give an example of what the whole album's going to be about, it's about me, and it's which sounds so like it's about me.
London Tipsy.
Yeah, but it's like how I got to me. So I already have this song out, and it's gonna be the first song that starts off the project, and it's my song, my track called "Born Again."
Wow,
So
you're getting
that's
exclusives. I love the
you.
tea. Oh my
You
god.
are good. No, you are for real. So "Born Again" is gonna be track one on this project, and the way that song starts is literally, I changed my name and my whole face. I'm never gonna be the same. And
Wow.
so it very simple, but very like I think powerful and like it's just I think what's powerful about it is it's honest, you know? And so it already sets up the whole vibe of the whole project, like, wait a minute, what? Like, you know what I mean? So then the next song that comes after that, I've teased it already, but I would say so in that song, what I like, I would say my favorite line because it references the album. It's you're gonna give yourself away by the end of the day. Take it from a Mr. Ray. I can show you the way. Which is kind of just saying, like, I think hold your cards close to your chest. Take it from a mystery. Like, take it from, I'm also saying me, but I'm talking about being mysterious. There's a power in being mysterious. And that's kind of going back to the project as itself. Like, it's essentially it's called mystery. So I'm a mystery. And, I feel like it's kind of like me letting opening myself up a little bit to who I am as a person and as an artist because there is a lot of vulnerability. Going back to earlier when we were talking about I recognize myself as God, an extension of God. I'm not saying I'm God, but I'm saying like, I mean in a way I am, but in a way I'm
I
not
know what
saying,
you mean. Yes.
yes. And so I have a song that I cannot wait to finish it. It's called Poster Child. And it's about Jesus. And it's actually about my relationship and my struggle with religion and the way I was brought up and these conflicting um, thoughts and cognitive dissonance even
Mm.
because the song, so there is like there's a lot of references to the Bible to like Born Again, you know, there's a reference to that in one of my other songs called The Queen of Club. I say I turn the water into rum, kind of referencing,
Wow.
yeah. And then it pops up in there's other songs with that themes definitely at play. But so anyway, this song Poster Child, it's very vulnerable and I really love it. I'm very excited for it because I want to do a video too, but I'm excited more so for the song itself and the impact it could have because I am like a queer artist, you know what I mean? And I'm talking about my relationship and my struggles with God in a way that's not that's not kind of like there's no other intention behind it. Like it's you're gonna hear it and you're gonna really be like, oh shit, like he's being real, like he's because I have struggled with it. And I wrote the song after we did the Pretty Boy music video
Wow.
because I was very scared and kind of like I was contemplating if I should even put up the music video because of my upbringing and I was like I don't want to be blasphemous like I hope but the way the music video even happened it just lined up to where I kind of felt and there was even a moment on set where one of the girls was like yo it feels like I could feel God here. We actually filmed in a church for
Oh,
that music
wow.
video. Yeah, that's actually another cool fact about it. But that's what you're gonna say.
I said
Oh,
just the dots connecting. That's crazy.
yeah, and even the music video for Pretty Boy, like what my mom and dad don't like a lot about that song, and well, the song is how I say God damn, like they don't
Mm.
God's name in vain.
That's
You know
one
what I
of
mean?
my favorite parts.
I know, and I feel like everyone else says it. Like like, but that song too is also talking. That song alone is talking about my struggles with religion too, in a very playful way. Like you wouldn't really pick up on it until you really kind of, I guess, hear the like look at the lyrics. But so anyway, poster child, it's me essentially asking God for forgiveness for that video because I don't know. I really kind of I really do have a fear of God, which I think is healthy in a way because there is my foundation's built on Christianity. But at the same time, it is kind of also like it goes back to I don't want to say religious trauma, but it goes back to I guess essentially who I am as a person. And so I was like, let me do this. Like I love karma in the sense of like when I actually think about this right now, I wrote Born Again a few years after I released my song Dead End because I felt like I really feel like there's like a magic in music. And a lot of my songs have manifested. And I've noticed other artists who are more successful than me who the same thing. Like eventually their songs do come true or vice versa, right? Um like can you give like examples, but
I know
I'll get
exactly
into that in a little.
what you mean. It's like a lot of rappers, they'll rap about having money when they don't have it. And then like that song will manifest the money, if that
That
makes
part.
sense. Yes.
Yeah. And so I definitely, there that is also going on with my music too. Like I am manifesting like through my music. But I felt like when I released Dead End, I kind of felt like I manifested a dead end. Like you know what I mean? And so like I was like, I need to like cancel this out. And so so this is actually cool going back to your release question. So I wrote Born Again. And so literally it cancels out dead end. It's dead born and again. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? The song,
Wow.
yeah. And I released that song on the day Jesus was on it was on Resurrection Day is when that song came out. So I released Born Again on Resurrection Day, and it was a two-part single where a different version of Take On Me, which is one of my all-time favorite songs that I covered, came out too. So it's Take On Me 2.0. Anyway, when I released that song, the day I released it, we have this mountain called the Monte de Cristo. And it's there's a big sculpture of Jesus at the top of this mountain. And I didn't realize this till I got down, which I was really disappointed in myself. But anyway, there's a tradition in the city where people walk that mountain barefoot. And that's something I've always wanted to do. And I did it that release. So there is like, I have this like religious aspect to me where I don't know how to explain it, but I do, that song, there was like, I don't want to say a ritual behind it because the ritual was me just walking barefoot. It was basically me giving that song to God. I guess I never want to lose my soul. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of me showing honor and kind of because I don't make music that praises him, essentially. You know what I mean? But I guess actions speak louder than words. And so I released that song on Resurrection Day and to kind of tell him, like, hey, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm just resonating with this. And I do feel like I've been born again. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like I'm not Israel anymore. It doesn't mean I don't remember anything that happened. I still remember my memories. I remember my childhood. But it goes back to just like me reclaiming my power and reclaiming my voice. I really felt like talking spirituality, like my throat chakra has opened so much. because of my music, because I make music, and because I speak truth, which I think is another part of it
Mhm.
also. But yeah, I don't know how we got there.
I love it. I love all of this. Like all I keep seeing are all the visuals that you're talking about when you speak, which is very beautiful. I think you do a great job of like explaining and elaborating just so on
Mm.
how I don't know on what you mean. Something that I was like thinking about when you were talking is how like Mr. Ray sounds like Mr. Reed, but it also sounds like misery. And I love that you
Mm.
keep saying about like how you've reclaimed your power. So it's kind of like you took something like misery and then you turn it to a mystery, like you removed all the things from it and then you reclaimed it again by saying Mr. Ray. Like I don't know, I feel like it's
Mm.
just like this process of like getting back to yourself. I was also thinking about the actual shape
Yeah, so
of the
what's
question mark. Hmm?
oh, what was that, babe?
I think there was a lag.
There what? I heard you say question mark.
Oh yeah, I was thinking about the shape of the question mark itself and kind of how
Mhm.
it's like aloof, but it comes back to the point, which is what you were saying, how like you explore and you try different things and you push yourself and you challenge yourself, but you always come back to that groundedness and you never want to lose that sense of self and honoring your own beliefs.
There we go. I love you for that. And you just reminded me one more really cool bit about this project. Um, the first song I ever wrote in El Paso. So like, let me give you a backstory. Do we have like a time limit on this one too?
No, yeah, but we have time now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Because so long story short, me and my family, we have an interesting relationship. We're in a better place now, but the way I ended up in El Paso was because they kicked me out because I was, gay and I was really starting to just play. I got my ears pierced. I was starting to wear makeup. My parents had found it, this and that. There was tension. That tension eventually turned into a disagreement, and ultimately that disagreement led to me being kicked out. So anyway, I came to El Paso. I have family here, and it's a first full circle moment because I never finished this thought earlier too. My dad got me my first recording equipment in El Paso, in the fucking Guitar Center. And
Hmm.
so it's just crazy because we only have one Guitar Center here, and it's the same one. But so anyway, I get my shit here, go back to Del Rio where I'm from, and then my normal life, high school, whatever. But then I get kicked out, and I come to El Paso because I have my family here, my aunt and uncle, and my cousins, and my cousin had her own loft style apartment, and so she was working and I wasn't working, and I was just making music. And the first song I ever made in El Paso was called "It's All for You," and so I re-recorded it, and I'm still gonna re-record it because I want to like fix it up a little
Not
bit.
too
But anyway,
Taylor Swift. Okay.
yo, well, I never put this song out, and this song was supposed to be on the Dead End album. There's actually two songs, well, three, including this one, that were supposed to be on the album that I am bringing back to this album, and I'm re-recording them because like I said, they're, I want to just make sure they're up to date, at least vocally, and even like production wise, like the way I like layer my vocals and I mix and master my own shit, like, it's all changed and whatever. So anyway, "It's All For You" was the first song I ever wrote in El Paso. And I was talking about how in the song, I say, because I've learned that life likes to change and rearrange for you. Because going back to me not having power and me not having control, that's what I was feeling in that moment. But the way I was feeling at the same time, even though I didn't feel like I had this control, I was also surrendering because I've always had that perspective and belief that there is a higher power. For me, it's God. I say God, life, spirit, the universe, but it's all the same thing. So I believe, God, and I believe in divine intervention and divine orchestration and divine meetings and stuff like that. So anyway, that song I'm excited to bring to the project because essentially it's gonna close the project. So it's kind of like funny. Like I start the project with one of my newer songs that would influence more so the main idea of the project, and it ends with the first song I ever wrote in El Paso, but it's an older song, and it was kind of like the mindset Okay, it's it's tripping me out because in Born Again I say I change my name and my whole face. And like the song, that's the first song, and then the last song is literally taking me back mentally right now in my mind. That was the first song I made as an artist in the city. And that was when I was already thinking, and that's when eventually I would act on the thought of changing my name, like changing the way I show up in the world, which I'm gonna start showing up as Rae. And I did. Like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And it's just crazy how all of that, I don't know, it's weird. It's so weird. Because people from my hometown and my family still calls me Israel. Most of my well, some of my family calls me Rae, but most of my family still calls me Israel. And people from my hometown call me Israel. And when they call me that, it just there's two thoughts that cross my mind. One, it's we haven't talked in a long time. And two, yeah. And two, or well, and then for my family at least, like it's different. I get it. And it's my parents and they named me that. So there's more of like I let them do it because I respect them in that way. You know what I mean? But I wish they would call me Rae, but I get it. You know what I mean? But so anyway, I haven't talked to you in a long time. And then there's the family thing. And then there's you don't really know me because you would know that I
Mm.
changed my name and you would ask at least why I changed my name, or you would, if you really cared enough to talk to me, I feel like from my past, you would notice there's a difference. And it's like
Wow.
people from and it's like people from my past don't want to almost acknowledge it, or I don't know what that is. I don't know like, what the fuck I have ideas, but um, where was I going with all of that? Mm, I guess like it kind of just goes to where I'm at in life with this project. And to close it up, I guess I was originally also going to name the project Imposter Syndrome because I really struggle with like, kind of just feeling like I'm not that good of a singer, I'm not that good of an artist, like I'm not original. Like so when you told me I was original earlier, like that earlier, that means a lot because it's I have these thoughts. That's the imposter syndrome speaking. Like even when I was working for the state, I had a really cool job. And I think that's honestly kind of what got in the way of the job was how I could not believe that I was there. Yet I tested the best in training. I had the best stimulations. But yet I still, even though in real life, like it looks good, in my mind for some reason, I'm like, I'm not good enough. So anyway, I was originally going to name the project Imposter Syndrome. I never did. I didn't want to because I also just didn't have a song named Imposter Syndrome, and I like to at least have a title track. But it just didn't. It didn't click the way Mr. Ray clicks. And what I'm trying to say is like I trust my gut. I follow my gut, and the same way like Mr. Ray clicks in my life, and the way it makes me feel is the same feeling and the same action I try to take in my day to day life, which is following my intuition. And so, long story short, the project is really me. It is art at the end of the day. Which, I would say like some of it is a little exaggerated, not all of it, but there's parts, at the end of the day, like it's a character that I am kind of playing because Rae slash Israel the person versus Rae the art or Rae the artist. Because I don't know how to explain it, but my art character or like the persona I kind of try to portray like is it's kind of like I guess what everyone assumes about me, or at least what I think people assume about me. And it's like I'm, like this gay guy that is superficial and only wants the nicer, the finer things in life. When in reality, like everything I have is like from thrifting or like people have given it to me or hand-me-downs or all my makeup is drugstore. Like I don't know. It's like one of my friends says Rae is a perfect illusion. And I'm like, it's true. And it's weird because
Wow.
yeah, and it's weird because like I eventually became Rae. You see what I'm saying? But like Rae the person is so different from Rae the I guess performer. But
Mm.
that's exactly what showbiz is. You know what I mean? But I'm willing to speak on it, but like also at the end of the day, like it is me playing. Like I'm playing. Like we're something I love is I live with a friend and she has kids. And the other day, she goes up to her little brother, to her older brother, who's just a year younger, I mean older than her, and she's 4, he's 5. And she's like, hey, you want to play grocery store? And then he's like, yeah. And then they literally get into character. Like, and I just thought that was like so cute and like
It's
so
cute.
like, you know what I mean? And there, it's so like, I don't know. It's kind of like I took something from that, and it
Mhm.
was like, okay, I'm performing. Let me play. Let's play
Mhm.
pop star. You know what I mean? So there is that element too. And music started out as an escape, and it's the therapeutic for me. But essentially, it was an escape. But I realized, and one of my other friends would eventually tell me 2 years ago, and I would have like an aha moment where he would say, Israel, Rae is who you want to be. Like you want to be Rae because you are Rae. And it's so true because growing up, I could never wear makeup. I could never dress the way I wanted to dress. So I think, some of my mental health struggles and my trauma has blocked me from that. And I don't know. So Mr. Rae, the EP or the album, whatever it's going to end up being, is definitely like me reintroducing myself in my mind to people from my past, but it's also introducing myself, because there is a reintroduction going on there. But in a lot of ways, it's just an introduction to other people who don't know me. You know what I mean? But I don't know. That's how I would describe that, I guess, to summarize it. It's a re slash introduction. It's a reintroduction slash an introduction to of myself to the world. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm so grateful that like you speaking so candidly, because like in my mind it's like, oh my gosh, like you're gonna be famous, and in many ways you already are, because
I
time
love
is an
it.
illusion. And so it's like a
Mm,
lot of artists, when they get that much attention, they begin to be more quiet in their interviews and they don't reveal as much. And so I feel like super
mm,
blessed. But I did want
yeah.
to say something, and like this can be the last, I don't know, thing that I point out if you want. But you mentioned Perfect Illusion, which is a song by Lady Gaga. And
Oh,
when you said that, it like popped into my mind that your name Rae, it's also spelled Ray, like a sun ray. And when you were saying
mm,
perfect illusion, it's like a sun ray is something that isn't really there. It's not tangible. You can walk through it. And yet, if someone goes and stands in a ray of light, you feel it, and it changes something about you, and it's very special. And I feel like that
mm.
also is like your essence, if that makes sense.
I love you. I don't mean to be that person, but okay, so let me say that. Let me just start off like this.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I love you because people have always, well, since me introducing myself as Rae, right, have always told me that. Like, you're like a ray of sunlight or you're like a ray of light. But it's because I spell my name Rae, which is because it's spelled feminine, but it sounds masculine. But going back to all of that, though, it's the same shit. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you for that because I love hearing compliments like that because I think it's so easy to compliment an external type of like concrete like thing, but what you just did is like it's very abstract. It's very going to like the woo woo territory, like But that's actually crazy because that's another Lady Gaga reference, and we had brought her up earlier, which is interesting. And she's one of the people I look up to. Honestly, like if I could have a career similar to anyone out there, I would love to have something like her, where she was able to kind of start as a singer and then yeah, let's manifest that. And I don't think she was getting taken seriously in the beginning. You know what
No,
I mean?
definitely not. No,
Yeah. I
I didn't
remember
take her
there was,
seriously in the beginning, and then I was like, oh, okay. Like this lady about her business. Like I think it was with the what album was that? The Joanne.
Mhm.
That's the album. And I was like, okay.
Yo, it's funny that you say that because yeah, I think it was that album and also when she collabed with Tony, but like the jazz album.
Bennett, yeah, because my last name is Bennett, and I don't know, I like that.
No, you're right. Oh my God, that's crazy. Like another synchronicity. But I remember people were like, she can actually sing. And I was thinking, because I loved her like in the the Fame Monster, like the Born This Way album. But like those are her earlier ones. And so anyway, I knew she could sing. Like, you know what I mean? Actually, I have this tattoo that says Speechless, and it's a Lady Gaga song,
Wow.
which one of my favorite songs by her. It's a ballad, beautiful song. But anyway, I love how she kind of has that evolution of like not being taken seriously. Then she gets taken seriously as a musician, and she's able to cross over into like television and film, and now this musical Broadway stuff with
Mhm.
the Joker. But yeah, she would I would say is someone I would try to or would hope to at least have a similar path in my career.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, well, this has been so beautiful. I would say like I expected like great answers, but you still blew my mind. I feel like I got like so many little messages and so much inspiration
Mm.
personally, like for my own life to like keep pushing and validation from you in the way that you view and conceptualize your art because I'm very detailed oriented and very passionate about what I do. But it's like you said, it's like people kind of like I don't know, use that to belittle you. Like if you don't have a certain amount of followers, if you don't have a certain amount of listeners, it's like, why are you putting this much work into something if nobody's listening? But that's the thing, you are listening. You're listening.
That part. Can I actually like say something to you, Loki?
Yes.
You just reminded me. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up because this is so relevant. Thank you. And you're right. You're right. There are people that are listening. Yo, I just dropped my ring light. Sorry. But you're right. And it's crazy because like it still blows my mind because I remember watching you like, a few like 2 years ago, I would say, and you've read for me two to three times, I think now. I love your readings. But I remember watching your first reading, your first pick a card. Well, not your first, but one of your pick a cards 2 years ago, and how you would randomly like open the book. I'd never seen anyone do that before in pick a cards. That's my favorite thing about you. And you actually inspired me to start reading again because I could tell that you were a reader. You know what I mean? Like a reader, but also a reader.
Mhm. Ah!
You know what I mean? Yo. But going back to what you're saying though about like how people like will be like, why are you doing this or whatever? I think I also sometimes get this other kind of reaction, which is, oh, you're full of yourself. You know what I mean? And because yeah,
Yes.
and it's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, no, like I feel like I hate that because like I feel like it just discredits like all my groundwork. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything that you have never that you don't even like not you, but that they don't even know that the bullying, like I said when I was making music in high school, like I got bullied for it, like you know what I'm saying? And just all the fucking shit I kind of brought up earlier too. But anyway, it reminds me also of like when I was like starting to like express myself and I had moved to El Paso from my hometown. I had this one girl who we were friends kind of, and I remember I went over and I don't know why. I guess I wasn't this is before I was really starting to wear makeup because my makeup wasn't, it was I was just starting out. But so anyway, I wasn't wearing makeup in my day-to-day life the way I do now. Like, there's days where I embrace the natural, you know what I mean. But anyway, went across her boyfriend said, and she later told me, like, I don't think he's actually gay. I think he's just like, and that pissed me off because I got bullied so hard in high school for being gay. So like it just reminds me of like going back to what I was saying, like, oh, you're full of yourself. I had one of my friends throw, well, we're not friends anymore, but she threw that in my face and she was my best friend. I would honestly say she was my best friend. We were roommates at one point. And when she said that to me, I was like, wow, what the fuck? Because I've talked about this stuff with you. Like what I'm saying right now is the kind of stuff I told her because I felt like at work, because we used to work together too, people would treat me differently because I felt like they thought that I thought I was like hot shit. You know what I mean? But it's not even that. It's I don't know. I don't know if that's what was going on or if I was too eccentric for them because I would go to work literally as Ray. I would dress up the uniform to where my supervisor at the time would call me in, and I would be like, well, and eventually, like, yeah, like her supervisor would tell her, and she would tell me, like, well, you are wearing the uniform. He's just dressing it up. And so anyway, like, it's just weird how people want us to play small. You know what I'm saying? And I actually have, uh, it's because I keep dragging the conversation. But I have a song that I am super excited for too, and this is the last little exclusive I'm gonna give away. I'm like at least on here. I'll talk to you about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like I have a song that I just finished recording, and we're gonna have a feature on it. She's another local artist in El Paso, super cool, doing her own thing. That's kind of going back to my collabs. I like to collaborate with people that I feel that genuine, authentic energy from. And I think it's because my whole life growing up, I was not authentic. So I love to sit and swim in that energy, but I can also kind of tell when someone's not being authentic. You know what I mean? Anyway, it's a song called So Gorgeous. Oh, it's so good. Okay. And it literally wraps up everything we were just talking about. The song's called So Gorgeous. And I think at face value, when you look at the title, you're like, and then you see like who the artist is, it's gonna be like, the fuck, this bitch is like full of himself. But the actual lyrics go like my favorite line from the song is, well, okay, it's kind of like I'm setting it up. So I say, from castles to couches, you kicked me out, I lost it all. But now I'm winning. You saw the rise after the fall. That talks about like we've opened up a little bit about our family. Like my parents had really good jobs too, and so they didn't live in a big, in a castle, but I went from living very comfortably and never knowing and realizing growing up, like we never struggled. Like money was never a thing. It wasn't until I lived on my own and I started helping families and my state job that I would kind of see other people's lives, and I would realize years later, like, oh, I had it really good. You know what I mean? But so anyway, I kind of talk about that. But so then I say my absolute favorite line, which is, now look at me, I'm gorgeous. You wouldn't believe my lowest. Because someone once told me, yeah, and that has a double entendre.
Dolly
But
Parton line. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so you said somebody once told you. We only have about 5 minutes left, by the way. But you said someone else once told
oh
you.
no, oh yeah, okay, and this is good too. Yeah, someone once told me, like, she was like, I would have never believed or assumed that you've gone through everything you've gone through just by the way you look, by the way you carry yourself, this and that. So that's what that line reference says. And so then anyway, I say, I'm gorgeous, so gorgeous. I'm like freezing on the lyrics. Beauty's pain. Oh wait, what did I say? It's a new song, so I haven't fully like memorized it yet. Um, oh, I say, I'm gorgeous, so gorgeous, and then it repeats, and then it says, now I don't have to pretend. Beauty's pain I represent. And it's like a play on that whole beauty is pain. So I say, fuck, I'm not beautiful, I'm gorgeous because bitch, I've gone through, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway, so that's like
Oh,
that's how I would wrap it up.
that's beautiful. Okay, I'll let you close out and then we'll say our socials so people know where to find you and how to support you. So what are three words that you would use to perfectly encapsulate who you are as an artist?
Ooh, okay, intuitive, um, intentional,
Mm.
and I don't know why I want to say like campy because I don't know. I'm sure, like very like Katy Perry-esque. I don't know what that word is. I guess campy. But eccentric. Eccentric. There we go.
Trick. Very good, very beautiful. All right. So my social is at Queen Sensitivity One. And Rae.
Ooh, my socials are Rae Lopez, and then Lopez has three Z's. And then I spell Rae R-A-E. I'm fucking dead, bitch. Yo.
But all right, that wraps up this very first interview. Thank you so much. I had a blast. This was very heartwarming, and I can't wait to do more and interact more with your work. I'm so excited.
Same. I can't wait to watch the future episodes and then continue to keep in touch with you too.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye. See you later.
Bye, babe. Bye. You take care. Thank you.
You're welcome.